feel like I should start this with a rap song. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. And we're back after a week vacation. And yeah, I've been trying to get into the groove of things, and I haven't. I'm having a rough go at it. Oh. Well, hey there, Jessica. Good evening, Kevin. You guys are always the first two. That's awesome. That is awesome. I think that I may be coming down with a cold. I'm not starting to feel, that feeling you get in your head or whatever. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Every time I fly on a plane, I tend to get sick um by the time I get off it. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, I realized last night that I could have had this reading last night instead of tonight. Um, because I came back Monday night, not Tuesday night. So I could have done it. So I just kind of just took an extra night to kind of get prepared for tonight, which I did. I actually did it, and then I also wrote some more in this book. Also went over Friday's story that I'll be reading to you guys, the Halloween story. So there's that. Um, why is this not showing that I am live? I wonder. Wonder what that's about. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, curious. Yes. Very curious. Staying in Florida would have been a good idea. Yes, I I agree with you there, man. Um although hurricane season was starting to start up there, they were kind of bracing for the aftermath of that hurricane that hit Jamaica, and it was heading for the coast. So, and my flight was delayed by quite a bit, and we still made it within 45 minutes. Um, but the buddy of mine that came out there with me, he um, he was supposed to leave 4 hours before me, and he ended up leaving the same time I did. So, but it was storms all the way home. So it was kind of a rough ride. Hey Chuck, how we doing? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see all of you. I've missed you guys. I bumped into Bobby today, and he's like, "I feel like you've been gone forever." Which, yeah, I totally get that because I kind of feel like I've been gone forever. Going back to work today was pretty tough. Let me tell you, I did not want to come back to work, and I'm getting my butt handed to me. So, yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I could have actually done this. I could have done this crazy show last night, but I didn't. Hey Beth, how are you? Welcome. Well, thanks, Chuck. That's what a lot of people said. They said, "Hey, you clean up pretty good." So, yeah. Um, but I've been cold since I got off the plane. I don't know if I've really taken this. I haven't taken a sweater off since I've been home. So, it's pretty cold. And it was nice and hot. Um, down there when I was there. So, but anyhow, I finished up the Halloween story, The Wolf of the Red Roses. I'm glad to be back too, kinda, Bobby. Um, I finished up the Wolf of the Red Roses story. It totally did not go in the direction I thought it was going to go into. Um, but none of my stories ever do. I always think this is what my characters are going to do. This is how it's going to end. Totally did not end the way I thought it was going to be. So, but that's okay. Um, I think it turned out okay. I finished it poolside when I was in Miami, and then last night while I was working on the Broken Bird story, I thought I would take a gander at it and just read it and see how I feel about it. I feel pretty good about it. It is a little gory, as you would expect from me, but yeah, yeah, I like it so far. So I'll probably read it again tomorrow, and just be sure that I do like it, unless or add some stuff if I need to. But yeah, so I got that. I had a great time when I was down there. My favorite part was Saturday starts the Christmas season. Oh, for the love of God. You and Christmas, Bobby. I don't know what I don't know what you do without Christmas, I tell you. I'm not going to knock it. I know it's your happy time and I'm happy for you. So, and you talked me into doing a Christmas special now every year on the b.hive. So, there you go. And Kevin. So, but anyhow, the it was great hanging out with family. That was my favorite part of my trip was hanging out with my brothers and sisters and my nephews and my niece and my dad and stepmom and hanging out with a buddy of mine, Jerry. He's him and I have been good friends for quite a long time. Both of us have been through a lot of shit and we've both been there for each other for going through that shit. So yeah, he's like a brother to me as well. So um and he's also been there for my mom when I wasn't available to get down to Omaha to help her out. He was Johnny on the spot helping her out. So um yeah, so and my sister was just a beautiful bride. Beautiful. And so was my other sister who was the maid of honor. Um it was just all kinds of beautiful people there. I mean, it's Miami, right? You know ugly people in Miami. But except me when I was there. But yeah, I cleaned up the best I could. Um and also it was I got to do part of my gig here as an officiant as the Reverend Bradley Bodeker. Um it was the second or third time I got to sign a wedding license with that title. So that was pretty cool. And it was honorable to do it for my sister. So I'm very honored I got to do that. I do kind of wish I had some of my family from New Zealand there because I did a blessing for my sister in Maori, and I wanted to be sure I was pronouncing everything right. And yeah, that was but I made some tears, so that's good. It's kind of funny. I wanted to share a story with you. There's a friend of mine. He's a medicine man of sorts. Lives out in Pipestone, and a lot of you have heard me talk about him. I'm actually going out there this Saturday to go see him. Um, but I wanted my younger sister, the one that got married, is Lakota, and I wanted to incorporate some type of Native American uh, heritage into her service, and I did not get any feedback from her aunt that I was trying to get a hold of. So I called him and I was like, "Hey, Leon, I need some help. I want to do a Native American blessing um, for my sister's wedding." And and he says to me, "Are you Indian?" And I said, "No, sir, I am not." And he goes, "Then don't try to be." Uh, he said, "The only person that can be an Indian, a good Indian, is an Indian. And there's nothing worse than somebody trying to be Indian." And so I said, "Okay." He said, "You're Maori. Be a Maori and give her a Maori blessing." And I said, "All right." And so I did. And it touched a lot of people. And it was weird because I'm not fluent in Maori. Um, but what I spoke really, I felt it come out of me. So um, yeah. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun. Did not want to come back. I hate Miami Airport. It's the worst airport I've ever been through. Um, there's like no people movers moving stair walkway, and it's a long airport. And of course, all my planes were 6 miles away from TSA checkpoint. So yeah, it was a tough crawl, and it's just packed, and everything's in Spanish, and then English is where you press number two. So anyhow, so with that said, I think we got everybody here that wants to be here. Um, so I think we should get up with the story. It's kind of a long one tonight. And I'm still doing 2 chapters. I should have read through this before I made the event, because then I probably would have just had it down to 1 chapter. But it's a 2 chapter night, and it is quarter after 8, and we should probably get going so some of you old people can get to sleep if you don't fall asleep during this. Ah, I got too many damn cords here. There we go. Alrighty then. So, if you remember, which I probably don't, Broken Bird got himself into a bar fight in Jackson Hole, Wyoming last time we were hanging out with him. And not only that, he got amoebic dysentery, was laid up in a hospital, and his dad came to help take care of him in the hospital till he got better. And now we are picking up from that with chapter 11, the Ballad of Broken Bird, chapter 11. When we're young, say from a conscious teenager through adulthood, we do some of the most selfish things to our parents. We always make things all about ourselves. We never take into consideration the work, tears, blood, and heartbreak our parents went through to get us where we are today. We just take and keep moving while our parents just stand and watch us leave. Well, here I was, my late 40s, packing up my bike while my father fidgets around with his luggage into his car. I could feel the sadness and worry come off of him, and selfishly I brushed it off. I couldn't imagine what it was like for him, raising a child who wasn't even his to boot, watching him grow for 48 years, and know that he'll die very soon. Instead of spending those last days with him, he decides to scoot off on some soul searching trip across America. More than likely, as said parent, you'd blame the worthless drunk brother in law for putting those goddamn ideas in your kid's head. I finished packing up, came over and hugged him goodbye again. He gripped me like it was the last time he would ever see me. Thanks for everything, Pops, I said. Uh huh, he said in a strained voice. I love you, Dad. I love you too, kid. Please be safe. I will. And use that goddamn phone if you need to, okay? Yeah, yeah, I will, Dad. I let him drive off first. Always easier when they're seeing you get smaller instead of the other way around. I jumped onto Highway 191 and headed north. I couldn't do this trip without seeing Yellowstone National Park. It was a few hours out of the way, but I thought it would be worth it. The indigenous people of the world all held animal totems as a great identifier of who they were and where they came from. Each animal held a sacred meaning to each subtribe and their role in their tribal society. My people held the animal sacred, while other countries held fish and bird sacred. In front of me, a herd of buffalo gathered in a small group. They bucked and snorted and looked at me cautiously as I perched on a large boulder. A northwest wind made the tall prairie grass dance and undulate as if it were breathing. There was a peace here, a great spirit, perhaps the great spirit, but it was here, amongst this herd of sacred animals. I remember my mother telling me about the buffalo and what it represented to us as a people. Each animal had a distinct way of functioning, and in doing so, it had a lesson to teach, medicine to give. The buffalo was a great provider, watchful over family, but it also held a line to the spiritual realm. You must treat everything as sacred, Mom said to me one night while tucking me in, because everything is sacred. It holds meaning in your life or those you touch. Perhaps back then, with an unjaded view of the world, I drank in what Mama said and absorbed the lessons the natural world was telling me. Now, my eyes were wide open. I tried to take everything in, from an eagle flying in my path to a deer running across the road. Mama? I asked when I was fighting sleep as a young boy. Yes, son. Is the buffalo sacred? Have you seen a buffalo? Yes. Here? She looked as if she didn't believe me. We lived in a suburb of Minneapolis, for God's sakes. No, in my dreams. What did this buffalo do in your dreams? He he led me to three trees in the middle of a field. Two were very tall and one was small. He ran and hit one of the taller trees with his big head and it fell. And when it fell, it cracked the smaller one. That that's about all I can remember. Mom didn't know how to interpret that. She told me she'd go talk to one of the elders who was a shaman downtown. I don't know if she did, or if she did, she never told me what it meant. But being that young, I probably wouldn't have understood it anyway. But today, as I stood in this sea of grass, watching the herd gather in front of me, with its numbers growing, I began to understand. I remember Uncle Bones once said that when a person has their vision, they may never understand it for days, months, or even years, that its meaning will come to them when the time is right. I've always thought that was a cop out. Oh, hey, magical shit has magical meaning. What does it mean? Fuck if I know, shit ass. You'll find out when the time is right. I think too many nowadays try too hard to look for something. Maybe I am. The answers, as some of the wise ones say, is already in us. We just need to listen. Well, it's more bullshit to me, but I could be wrong. Maybe we all wear this veil, helps protect us from the brutal truth or answers we don't want to hear. I don't know. I'm not any shaman, but this was a moment, and I decided to listen. The veil was lifted. The trees, as Benjamin explained to me, were relatives. The two tall trees were my mother and my father. The smaller one was me. And just as the tall tree that was struck down, so too was my mother. When she fell, it cracked a part of me that would heal, but never return to the original state I was in. And then I cried again, just as strong as I did so many nights before. I hadn't healed yet. Healing from grief it's one of those things that fuck with our minds. Because healing means you no longer hurt. But if you no longer hurt, that means you stopped caring about who you've lost. Ugh. It's frustrating as hell and drives many to drink. I may never heal before I find my own mountain. That's what my people say when we die. We find our mountain or we find our river. They made it sound so honorable. It was our version of kick the bucket or bought the farm. It was death. That's all it really was. Looking back on that discussion I had with Mom so long ago, I realized that the memory didn't hurt. It brought warmth to me. So maybe, just maybe, grief is just another form of love. Sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it heals. I wiped my eyes and dried my cheeks. The buffalo began to move away as if they were waiting for me to recognize my vision so that they could move on. I get it now, I said to them solemnly. Thanks for the help. They rambled away, the head bull turning his mighty head and staring at me for a moment with those deep brown eyes. I took out a cigarette from my pack and crumbled the tobacco in my hand and left some on the ground before me to thank him for his wisdom. He snorted and disappeared over the hill with his tribe. I kicked my bike to life and roared down the gravel path and found Tar a quarter mile west. I had roughly 3 hours of daylight left before I got into Idaho and find a place to camp out. Craters of the Moon National Monument can only be summed up in my limited vocabulary as fucking beautiful. Okay, so it looks like a bleak, desolate wasteland that has been bombarded with 200 megatons of atomic death. But to see it for what it is, to see that it's here in our country, it's an ancient lava field filled with craters, caves, and lava tubes. I wanted to camp inside one of the lava tubes, and I knew that I'd be forbidden. So I rented a campsite with all the RVs and pop up camping tourists who stayed there. I set up my one man pup tent and then packed my sleeping bag and my backpack and went hiking. About a quarter mile on the trail that leads you around to some of the major caves and lava tubes, I began to feel my sickness. My face got hot. I felt dizzy, short of breath, and I began coughing and spitting up phlegm and a little blood. Fucking cancer. I remembered the trip my dad took us on. I was probably just above a toddler. I ran everywhere. I could feel the air in my clean little lungs, and the energy came from nowhere. My parents used to freak out when I'd run too far out of sight. Man, those days were so far behind me now. I felt my breath start to hitch, and coughing seemed to be unproductive. I mean, come on, give me a blood clot or something. I shuffled through my bag and found my Advair disc, gave it a quick puff, and sat on a rock. The wheezing began to subside. What's left of my lungs began to relax. I knew wherever I had camped tonight had to be close. I didn't want to be too far from the bike, but I also didn't want to be too close to the other campers. I wanted solace, or at least as much solace as a guy who can't walk too far without suffocating because his lungs were collapsing. A prairie dog yipped across the path from me. I gave it a glance and then went back to my thoughts on breathing. It yipped again, chattering away like it was bitching me out for being alive. Trust me, little brother, I muttered to it. I don't like this living thing any more than you do, but just humor me, will you? As if in response, it chattered back at me. A few short, calm yips, and then it disappeared into the mound it was standing on. Thank you. It popped up again, but further away. Its chatter was longer this time, as if it was trying to get my attention. Seriously, fuck off, little man. It was having none of my attitude, and it yipped several times until I stood up from my rock. It disappeared into another hole and then popped up in another even further back. I walked across the path and was on the first mound it had appeared on. I scanned the area until his little head popped up again another 10 yards from where I was, still chattering away as if I were annoying its busy schedule, but I felt that it was leading me to somewhere. Eventually, he showed up on a ridge and raised up on his tiny hind legs and chattered at me until I got closer to him. He settled back on all fours and then went down on a ridge to a small cave opening. Now, I knew there were rattlesnakes in Idaho, but I wasn't sure if they were in this region. Considering I had a bleeding tumor, cracked ribs, and I survived amoebic dysentery, I was willing to risk a little rattlesnake venom. But I'd really feel bad if my little furry friend met his end to one on account of directing me to this cave. There was no sight of him, just an open cavern giving the waning light of dusk through an opening up top. There were lava tubes all along the walls of the cave. Perfect, little man, I said to my guide, wherever he may be. You knew exactly what I was looking for. I went back out and gathered some juniper branches that were scattered about, along with some dead grass. I made myself a fire, laid out my sleeping bag on a patch of black sand. The fire's song echoed off the walls, crackling embers singing me into an exhausted slumber. My body was beaten up, inside and out. I could feel the cancer trying to claim the real estate in my body. My coughing hadn't let up since my hike, and although dry, I was hacking up gobs of blood with yellow mucus. Maybe I wouldn't make it all the way through my ride. It was becoming apparent that my health was heading south without me, rapidly. Worry over how my family would take the news if I bit the dust while on the trail raced through my head. My poor father, my siblings, close friends, and how would anyone find me if I died right here in this hole in the earth? I guess I'd save them all the expensive burial. That night, as I drifted off, staring at a starless sky, a dream manifested itself. I was riding on some road. It was paved but empty, not a soul around except me. I began to cough, little eruptions at first, and then they became spasms. I felt myself losing control of the bike. It wobbled with each cough. Blood dripped from my nose and mouth. I began to panic because I was drowning in my own blood. Then the handlebars swiveled at a 90-degree angle, and I went over them. It was slow motion. My boots left the pegs as I realized too late that I didn't have a helmet on. I hit the pavement with a loud crack, and then my face ricocheted off the tar, exiting my front teeth. The wind left my lungs as my body began to skid along the rough tarmac. I could see the yellow lines past me, and then my bike was somersaulting past me, and then laid down in a bouquet of sparks and skidded on by. I could feel layers of flesh leave my body, and tiny pebbles embed themselves in my exposed legs, with ragged denim hanging on to what was left of them. Then my body came to a stop. I was gasping for breath, the pain excruciating as I tried to lift my body up. "Stay down," a familiar gruff voice spoke. "Stay down, popcorn fart." It was Uncle Bones. He stood there in his leather cut, tattoos chiseled into his arms, dusty black boots peeked out from leather chaps that clung on to skinny legs. I tried to call out to him, but breathless gasps were the only thing that left my mouth. "Stay down, kiddo," he said again. "This is the end of your road." I laid back down on the pavement, still trying to grasp my breath again. I was reaching in my pocket for my rescue inhaler, and then I heard his boots walking towards me, a sound that echoed out here on this desolate stretch of road. The sound began to sound like thunder, crackling like fireworks as he got closer. "Give me your hands, popcorn fart," he said, reaching down. My body jerked awake. As another round of thunder echoed through the open sky above and bounced off the cave walls. A storm had begun while I was sleeping. A heavy rain poured outside. And then made its way through the hundreds of lava tubes that dotted the walls. Rainwater flooded out of those tubes and splashed down like little miniature waterfalls. The sound was soothing. My body felt as if it really had bounced off the road, and my lungs burned as if there was an ember from a cigarette slowly glowing inside them. I was so thirsty. I took a puff from my inhaler, and then tried to gain my breath back. Slowly, I made my way to one of those tiny waterfalls and then cupped my hands beneath it. I drank greedily from it. It was cold and tasted fresh. I cursed myself because I had forgotten the water filter straw my dad had given me. I hoped there wouldn't be any bacteria in it to make me sick again. But my luck was never good. The icy rainwater felt wonderful on my tired lungs. With my thirst quenched, I laid back onto my sleeping bag and let the running water sing me to sleep. Her song was loud but soothing, almost powerful, like the kind of song that you feel inside you, making your soul dance inside your skin. Okay, on to chapter 12. 12. Water dripped from the lava tubes to the puddles that surrounded me. Tranquil drops that echoed across the walls. The sun shot a beam of light at an angle that fell on me. I could feel its healing warmth. Oh, there's too many buttons around me. I lifted my head, and despite a tiny ache in my back, I felt good. New. Like I had received a new body. It's hard to explain, but my body ached from the cancer. I could feel it depleting me, especially on this trip. I knew I was pushing it, but I had to grasp every inch of this experience before my lights went out. So I pushed myself. To be honest, I thought for sure I'd wake up with pneumonia. That's how everything ended. If I had a cold, it turned into pneumonia. If I had the flu, it would turn into pneumonia. If I had a goddamn hangnail, it would surely turn into pneumonia. My breathing was easier and deeper. Before there was a hitch whenever I would inhale, but that was gone. I could take in a long, deep breath and exhale with no pain or threat of coughing. Just by habit, I popped a cigarette out of its pack and stuck it in my mouth. Son of a bitch, I whispered harshly to myself, and I threw it away from me. It was at this point I had made an agreement with myself. I wasn't going to smoke anymore. That was it. It was impacting my trip, my last trip ever. Okay, well, besides the one I take on the other side. I don't know what happened to make my lungs feel better. Was it the water? Maybe. Was it the dream vision? Maybe. I don't know. I just know I felt 100% better than I ever did in the last 20 years of my life. This was my second, actually, in reality, my fourth chance, and I wasn't going to fuck it up again. But the reality of that is that I would fuck it up because that's what I do. I fuck things up. Give me $1 million, I'll fuck that shit up and end up homeless. Give me an island with a mansion on it, I'll have it burned to the ground and the island sunk like Atlantis. Now, maybe you're saying, bro, that's pretty harsh on yourself. And maybe it is. But I'm a realist. The first time I got cancer and they got rid of it, and I went through a few months of chemo wishing I would die, the doctor told me if I didn't quit smoking, I would get cancer back. I laughed at him and smoked 2 days after I left that fucking chemo chair for good. 8 years later, boom, cancer again. They cut a chunk out of me and I get the same lecture. Did I learn? Sure. I quit for about 6 months and then Jean left me. Who do I turn to for comfort? Marlboro. The last time Gene and I spoke, it wasn't good. I mean, a split is never good, amicable or not. And now here she is, her number, flashing on the screen of my cheap little flip phone. Fuck, Dad, I said under my breath. Why did you do this? Hey, I said regrettably, flipping the phone open. Hey, she said, followed by a long pause. Well, what's up? I I spoke with your dad. Yeah, so I heard. You okay? Sure. Really? Gene, don't. Silence again. Awkwardness that was thick. So, where are you now? She finally asked. Idaho. Craters of the Moon, to be exact. You, heading to Texas anytime soon? I'm hoping to make it all the way around the United States. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you could stop out here in Corpus Christi when you come through. And what would be the point of that, Gene? I mean, seriously. I'm sorry. For what? Well, I took off on you when you needed me the most. I, hey, look, you don't owe me anything, Gene, okay? I get it. I really do. No, you don't. You don't get it. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter now, does it? I would really love to see you again before I die. Go ahead and say it, Gene. My words were biting now. I've come to terms with it. I'm dying. This is it. The last road trip. The climax before the credits roll. I got this far alone, and I'm going to make it to the end alone just fine. I just couldn't handle the thought of losing you again, she spat. Do you get that? It was traumatizing enough when you went off to college in another state, and now it was so traumatizing you fucked my best friend. I thought we hashed that out. Yep, we did. And now you can move on without the guilt. It's not even about that. Fuck. You're so hard headed. I didn't know if I could be with what you wanted or what you needed. When your time came, I was falling apart. You didn't need that. You needed a partner to be there and be strong. And I couldn't give you that. I just wanted you to love me until the end. Easy for you. You die being loved, and I'm left here with nothing but the memory of loving you, you fucking bastard. Ouch. Now I was the silent one. You just call me when you get to Texas, okay? Sure, I answered. If you don't, I get it, but I hope you do. I want to see you before you end your journey. We hung up. I walked back to my bike without a cough and with new energy. I packed up my tent and sleeping bag and then showered. I came out feeling like a new man. I pulled out the map and looked for my next destination, Seattle, Washington. 9.5 hours. It was a beautiful day, and I had new energy. And that, my friends, is the end of chapter 12. I hope you guys enjoyed those two chapters. Well, let's see. I got to get you guys back. Where the hell are we? There we go. There we go. All right. That was now I realize why I had both chapters up to read for tonight is because chapter 12 was pretty short. Chapter 11 was kind of long. So, anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys are enjoying your trip with Broken Bird and myself. Um a lot of real people in this story. Thanks, Jessica. Um I'm pretty sure Kevin knows Gene. But yeah. Anyhow, this has been a good exercise for me for getting this story done. I've actually been working quite a bit on this story. More feels again. Yeah. So yeah, it's I'm I'm more confident now that I will have this book done than I did before. So just because of this exercise. One, it's kind of therapeutic to read it to you guys. Um, but it's also I don't know. I just really wanted to share the story with everybody. So and now I'm getting that chance. So that was thanks, Chuck. You have a good night as well. Um, good, good. I'm glad you love it, Bobby. I'm glad you love it. Um, so yeah. So now Broken Bird has got kind of a second wind. Um, either from drinking that rainwater that was filtered through lava rock or something, but something helped him out. And so it won't be too many depressing cancer talks for a while yet, at least. For a while. I don't know. Who knows? These chapters change organically. So, anyhow, so tomorrow night, come join Bobby, or AKA the Wild Hair, and myself. Tomorrow night, we're going to play some music for you guys. Horribly, horribly, and out of tune. And we'll be playing that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Um, from live from Winthrop Mercantile, the Merc. And I need one of those second win. Yeah, I think we already got our second win, Kevin. I think we might need a fifth or a fourth one, fifth or a sixth one. But yeah, so we'll be doing that tomorrow night. And then oh yeah, Bobby, I gotta send you that playlist. And then also do Friday. Oh my god. Friday is a b.hive 2025 Halloween special where I will be reading A Wolf of the Red Roses, a short horror story that took me about 2 weeks to write, and it was picked by you guys. You guys voted on this one, and yeah. So I hope you guys are happy with that one. I'm sure it'll scare some of you. Kevin might not sleep, and he might look at his dogs differently. But yeah. So join me for that on Saturday. I am going to head to Pipestone. Um, there's something I have to be gifted, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you guys about it next week, and then or maybe on Sunday when we do coffee with friends. If Bobby's up for that. Yeah, Chuck. There you go. Um, it almost looks like a mouse though. So, but yeah, so join us for that. We'll do coffee with friends. I think we do that at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And you know what's weird, Bobby, is my phone has been by this thing all night, and I got the mic tanked out, and not once did that sound come up. Very, very strange. Anyhow, we still don't have a guest for Sunday, but we will be back, and we'll talk about vacation, talk about the wedding, talk about what Bobby's been up to. He's been a busy little guy too. He's been gathering stuff for his antique store. Maybe what we could do is we could promo some of those items that he got. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It'll turn into something, I'm sure. So, with that being said, you guys have a great night. It's good to be back in the saddle. I wish it was warmer, and I wish I was sitting by a pool. So, I was thinking about doing a coffee with friends when I was in Florida, but yeah, I think I slept in that day. I think it was that Sunday. Yeah, I think I might have slept in through that. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have an awesome evening. You're gonna have to put up with me for the next 3 nights at least if you stop in again. Tomorrow night, toe tapping Thursdays with Bobby and myself. Friday, um, Halloween story. Got to be here for that. Bring some Halloween candy. This for you, Kev. There you go, bud. All right, have a great night. Love you all. Mwah. Good to see you all here again, and we will see you tomorrow night. Peace and a bottle of hair grease. And see. Oh yeah, if you're watching this later on the YouTube, please like and share. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Uh, Subscriptions have been growing. I believe I am almost to 40 subscribers, man, on YouTube. How about that? Um, my b.hive page has grown quite a bit with followers. So thank you to those out there that have moved them in. Here, appreciate that very much. All right, now I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna run to the store and yeah, I'm gonna get some bread and milk and then I'll be right back. Promise.